Hey, 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 what's happening, everybody? How you doing? This is the Wright-Jones coming to you with Get Unstuck and Sexy with the Wright-Jones. Welcome to the show. The show is being brought to you by Keep Looking Up with B. Wright-Jones, LLC. And I'm so glad that you're here with us on this Thursday afternoon. If you would like to connect with me, you can do so. Facebook at B. Wright Jones, Instagram, Keep Looking Up 7, Twitter, Keep Looking Up with 2 P's, and my website is bwrightjones.com. The show is actually a replay from Power Conference 2022 that took place in January. I'm going to be sharing each week and highlighting the speakers from the conference. So enjoy, be enlightened, be encouraged, and remember always to keep looking up. Be blessed.
Hello there, how are you? Welcome to this edition of the Power Conference. It is my joy to speak to the women out there, to encourage you to move into your power, to move into your purpose, to move into your passion, and to do so without fear, regret, or shame. My name is Pamela Nichols. I write books, I teach others to write books, and I support Christians as they transform their lives from the inside out. I have for my subject today, careers. And we all know the jokes. We've said the jokes probably. We joke about our jobs. Some of them are not jokes, unfortunately. We joke about the Monday blues, and we almost break our necks getting out of there on Friday so that we can have 2 days for ourselves. But I want to submit to you that work is a blessing. And not just the finances, even though that is important because that is how we provide for ourselves and move through society. But I want to submit that work is a blessing because it is the closest thing I see to the pattern of heaven. And some would say that that would be the church, but you expect spirituality in church. You have to invite it to your job. So let me tell you how I see it. At your job, you have your director, your supervisor, the powers that be, and they have rules and regulations for you to follow to go out into the market to bring in the customer so that they can make a profit. And over here, we have the kingdom of God. We have God, and he has his principles and precepts that we are to follow. And we go out into the harvest and bring back the souls that he wants to save, because it is not his will that any should perish. So can you see how they are so much alike? Now, I'm aware that we have many different kinds of women here, women in different kinds of careers, I should say. We have some who punch a clock from 8 to 5. We have some who own their own business. And we have some, I think you call them solopreneurs. They are entrepreneurs after they punch their 8 to 5 clock. And so they work all day, come home and work their side gig with the plan and hope and dream that one day this will grow into be their main gig. So those are the solopreneurs. I'm sure we have mothers whose career is right now is to raise their children full time. So they're home with the babies all day. I'm sure we have women who've retired. We probably have college students who have yet to hit the workforce, and we probably have some women who are between jobs. But wherever you are in your career, I want to encourage you to see your job as ministry. And I'm going to submit that there are 2 ways to do that. The first way is to look for God at your job, wherever you fall in that job listing I just went to. Look for God in that job. How is God showing you that you've grown? How is that job giving you the opportunity to grow inwardly? Um, how is that job giving you peace? What peace do you find there? What peace do you bring there? You're not the employee who's stealing supplies and gossiping and coming in late, right? We know you're not doing that. You're bringing peace there. You're bringing God's peace there. And this is the kind of peace that emanates from you. You're not standing up saying, hey, look, I'm the Christian and I'm here to bring peace and God's love. No, you're living it out. And they know that about you. And it's not coming out of your mouth. It's coming out of your character. Okay? So that's another way you're going to look for God there. Look for what opportunities do you have there to advance? What opportunities do you have there to serve aside from your job? Don't be a burden to your supervisor. Don't be the one that they always, if they have numbers to track, they count on you to be the last one. That's not what we're going to do. So the first way to look at your job as ministry is to look for God at your job. The other way is to invite God into your job. Again, ask him, God, while I'm here, making paper clips or fixing lunch or whatever it is that you're tasked to do, how is this job? How can this job grow me from the inside out? What am I going to walk away from this job with aside from a paycheck? Okay. If you are a solopreneur, ask God to teach you how to see that job through your supervisor's eyes so that you will have that skill set when you then become a supervisor or when you're out working on your own. Our jobs are more than just going in and punching a clock and taking a check home and then having a week's vacation every year. It truly is ministry. Okay. Talking about how we're going to invite God in, ask him, what will my presence change in this department or in this building? What is my testimony going to be when I walk out of here? If I were a fly on the wall and my supervisors were, my name came up in a supervisor's meeting, what would be said? And have me and see that backwards. So have you learn how to act in accordance so that you will have a good testimony there and people will say great things about you there. Okay, so those are the two ways that you're going to see your job as ministry. Look for God at your job and invite him into your job. And I want to take a minute to show you how this worked out in my life. In my 20s, I worked in human services because I always like working with people and helping people. I got married at 30. I spent the next 20 years at home. I homeschooled my children. At the time my youngest was leaving for college, my marriage ended. So here I was, middle-aged, had not had a full-time job or career in 2 decades. I do not have the words to explain to you how frightened and fearful I was. But then I came to myself. Then I had a memory. I remembered even back in my 20s, even as a new Christian, I recognized God's favor on my jobs and my career. I was always a hard worker. I only had one job that I did not like. Every job I had, I loved. Every time I got a job, I would always say, oh man, this is the best job I ever had. And my friends were like, you said that about your last job. But that has always been how I felt about work. I have always had supervisors who favored me. I always gotten along with my supervisors, and I have not had a job yet that I had not had a promotion. When my marriage ended and I was fearful about the fact that I had not worked in so long, and I had that memory, 2 things came up right behind that. God does not compartmentalize. He's not a man. He's not like man like that. So if God gave me favor then, that favor is on me now still. And The other thing I realized is that, again, with the compartmentalizing, if he does it over here, he will do it over here. In fact, it is done over here. The difference was I didn't see it. So after I had that mindset change, boom, everything changed. Anyone who knows me knows I love true crime drama. The first job I had after being at home for 20 years was with our local police department. I was as happy as I could be. I could not believe it. I went from that police department in the admin section. I was working in the building, not on the streets. I went from that police department to another police department. Okay, so I did that for 4.5 years. I am today working in the corporate office of a Fortune 150 company. And I'm telling you, and I mean it this time, it is the best job I have ever had. It is so well suited for me, my skill set, my temperament. I just go in there like this every day. I want to add one other thing. I had some childhood trauma that I had to work through. And as I started working through that and scales were lifted off of my spiritual eyes and off of my heart, God showed me what he put into me as a child, and that is writing. I have written, in a year and a few months, I have written 4 books. I am the author of the Inside Out series. I write Christian fiction about subjects you don't typically see written about. They're heavy subjects: depression, suicide. There is some sexual abuse. There's racism there. God has given me stories to write about that, and that's what I have done. From there, I have now, I have a service called Critique Your Calling, where I teach Christian writers the 4 principles of effective Christian writing, because even if God has given us a vision to write, we still have a responsibility to present it so that we don't stain the gospel, so that our message is clear. You just can't say God gave it to you and then slap it on a paper. So I have that. Then I developed an inner healing program. There's a group one and then there's a one-on-one. The group one, I am using the precepts that God gave me in the stories in the Inside Out series. And in the one-on-one, I take those precepts and apply them to my client's life. Now, I say all that to say, I would not have done all that if I did not see work as a ministry. I would not have done all that if I had been comparing myself to other Christian writers or other coaches or others. You see what I'm saying? God has given us all that we need pertaining to life and godliness, and we can do all things through Christ, but it works with a mindset shift. Please learn to see your job as ministry. And that's not that's not a statement to take lightly. You hear it a lot. But if you really, really see it as ministry and you're asking God, why am I here? What do you want to work in me while I'm here? What do you want me to do? Who and how and what do you want me to affect while I'm in these 4 walls? If you look for God at your job and you invite him into your job, things are going to change. I hope that blesses you. Please reach out to me if you want to. You can find me on Facebook under Pamela Nichols. You can find me on my website, pamelawrights.org, and you can send me an email at info@pamelawrights. God bless you. I love you all, and I hope you are enjoying this wonderful, wonderful conference. Talk to you later.